She was everywhere. On front pages, red carpets, reality shows, magazine covers. Katie Price wasn't just a celebrity, she was a phenomenon. The kind of famous that didn't need an introduction. She defined a generation of British fame. And for a while, it looked like nothing could bring her down. But something changed. Because now, she's mocked, dismissed, written off. Once a media darling, now a walking tabloid cautionary tale. So what happened? Why did the public finally turn on Katie Price? What triggered the backlash? And was it really her fault? Or was it the system that built her up in the first place? If you're ready to hear the brutal truth about the rise and fall of one of Britain's most controversial celebrities, hit subscribe now. Because this is the story they don't tell in the glossy magazines. Let's rewind. Katie Price didn't start in scandal. She started in The Sun, page 3, the 90s. When tabloids ruled the streets, and the more outrageous, the better. Back then, she was known as Jordan, a pseudonym, a persona, a brand. She wasn't just a model, she was a walking, talking, commercialized fantasy. And she knew it. That's the part most people missed. Katie understood media attention like no one else. She didn't run from it, she manufactured it. And the public loved her for it. She was confident, blunt, ambitious, and unlike any other woman in the public eye. She was judged. But she owned it. And in doing so, she took the power back. At least for a while. But then came the shift. The marriages, the chaos, the breakdowns, both emotional and financial. She went from model to mogul to reality star to tabloid obsession. From woman in control to woman in crisis. The public started noticing something. Patterns, addictions, drama that seemed less entertaining and more exhausting. And when people feel exhausted by a celebrity, they don't feel sympathy, they feel resentment. That's where the backlash begins. Let's talk about the headlines. Katie Price banned from driving. Again, Katie Price in rehab. Katie Price declares bankruptcy. Katie Price calls out her ex. For a while, it was constant. And each time, the public reacted with less interest and more eye roll. Because this wasn't shocking anymore. It was expected, predictable, and that's what kills fame faster than anything, when it stops feeling special. But the real turning point? Her kids. People can tolerate scandal. They can tolerate plastic surgery, failed marriages, even criminal charges. But once your children are involved, once your personal drama starts to affect them, the mood changes. Katie's parenting has been under fire for years, posting photos, exposing private moments, using family tension for views and headlines. And while her fans defended her, the wider public grew uneasy. They started asking, is this fair to the children? Where's the line? Is this exploitation? That's not entertainment. That's concern. And concern turns into criticism fast. Then there's the surgeries. We're not talking about a nip and tuck. Katie Price has undergone dozens of procedures. Facelifts, liposuction, fillers, veneers. She's flown abroad. She's filmed the operations. She's posted the aftermath. At first, it was part of her brand. Bold, unapologetic, in your face. But now it reads differently. Now people see a woman chasing an image that never settles. Now it feels desperate. And desperation makes people uncomfortable. Even the people who once idolized her body now ask, what's going on here? Why won't she stop? The backlash isn't just about what she looks like. It's about what it represents. A woman falling apart in public and refusing to admit it. But here's the thing. Katie Price didn't change. We did. She's doing what she's always done. Living out loud. Stirring controversy. Staying in the spotlight. But the public? We're more cynical now. Less forgiving. Less fascinated by scandal and more eager to cancel. In the early 2000s, chaos was entertainment. Now, it's a red flag. Katie hasn't kept up with that cultural shift. She's still playing by the old rules. But the game has changed. And then there's the money. Once worth millions, Katie's finances are now a running joke. Bankruptcy, debt, court appearances, claims she's broke one day, flaunting designer bags the next. To the public, it screams hypocrisy, or worse, manipulation. People don't like being lied to, and whether she is or not, the perception is damaging. Katie Price went from aspirational to unrelatable to off-putting. That's the ladder of downfall, and she hit every rung on the way down. But let's be honest, the public backlash didn't appear out of nowhere. It was years in the making. The reality shows that blurred into each other, the messy breakups, the fights with exes, the feud with Dwight York, the accusations against her partners, the drink-driving crash in 2021. Each incident added a layer. Each one chipped away at the sympathy. And eventually, people stopped asking, "Is Katie Price okay?" and started saying, "She's brought it on herself." That's when the backlash becomes permanent. Yet, despite everything, she hasn't disappeared. In fact, she might be more visible than ever. But it's not the kind of visibility she wants. It's not power. It's not admiration. It's morbid fascination. Rubbernecking. Watching the wreck, not the road. She's still selling headlines. But now she's not writing them. They're being written about her. With less kindness, less patience, and a lot more judgment. And when the media turns on you, it's almost impossible to take the power back. So where does that leave Katie Price? Still famous, still hustling, still trying to survive in an industry that's moved on. She's writing more books. She's selling her image one click at a time. But the fame she once controlled now controls her. She doesn't lead the narrative. She reacts to it. She doesn't shock people. She confirms what they expect. And that's the cruelest twist of all. Because behind the backlash, there's still a human being. A mother. A woman who built herself from nothing. Who made millions out of sheer audacity. Who dominated an industry designed to chew women up and spit them out. She survived things many wouldn't. But now, the survival has stopped being inspiring and started being exhausting. And when the public finally has enough, it's almost impossible to win them back. Maybe the real question isn't, why did we turn on Katie Price? But why did we expect her to survive this long in the first place? Because when you look at the scrutiny, the pressure, the media machine she's lived inside for 25 years, it's not surprising she broke. It's surprising she held it together for so long. And yet, here she is, still posing, still posting, still selling, still surviving. There's something almost defiant about it. Maybe she's not chasing fame anymore. Maybe she's clinging to identity. Because if Katie Price isn't famous, then who is she? That's the final tragedy. That the person might be gone, and only the product remains. If you're fascinated by fame's darker side, by what happens when celebrity becomes survival, and by the stories the tabloids get wrong, tap subscribe. Because we dig deeper than the headlines. And Katie Price's story? It's far from over.